Okay, recording with static. Okay, now that's what we were discussing. There are some static pages, so where will not be much interacting with the page. Instead, that those pages would remain same. For example, if you go to ATM vendor machine, then there are you can see some welcome pages, right? Like welcome to a particular bank. So these kind of requirements, so we can make use of these S3 services. With the help of this S3, we'll just host couple of sites over there so that we can save our money. So if our requirement is to have a static website, then it is S3 is a very good option. So instead of going with EC2 instance. So before that, we used to go with EC2 instances, right? And we used to install necessary softwares on it, and we used to implement our website. So if you go with our Amazon S3, then we don't need to have our EC2 instance. So I think we'll be able to make use of S3 and we can host our website, right? So okay. So here I've given certain steps. So let us try to implement and let's see how it works, right? So now, how to do that? First of all, the basic one is we need to have a bucket, right? So if you, I mean, the basic structure would be we need to have a bucket, correct? So, do you see my screen? Do you see the whiteboard screen?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So what I was saying, so if you need to, if you want to create something, so first of all, we need to have something called as bucket, and on top of it, we need to upload objects, right? So these objects I consider as website implementation, right? So in order to do that, we will implement some website with the help of some index, some HTML pages. Okay, we will do that. Now, first we need to create a bucket. So this is the S3 console. Click on the bucket, and afterwards click on create bucket. Now it has to be unique. So let's say we'll give training with today's date 09/11/2022. And I am planning to create this in North Virginia region. And as of now, let us not worry about ACLs. I think today, I think Kavita, she was facing some issues. She did not enable this ACL one, so hence she was not able to access a particular object. So please make sure these things to be taken care. And later, I need to unblock this one because I need to make this object to be available everyone. And later, click on create. Once we create a bucket, right? So what we'll do, just get inside of your bucket and let's see, click on properties, right? And under properties, we have something called as static website hosting, right? So here it's a inbuilt feature within S3 so that we can host our implementation under static website hosting. So what I did, I just created a bucket and on top of the bucket, I clicked on the properties. Under properties, I am selecting static web pages, static website hosting. And I, by default, it is disabled. I need to enable this one. Once I enable this one, then you will see certain options. Here, we can give our implementation. For example, uh, definitely, we need to, we'll have to implement our website with the help of HTML or PHP or whatever, right? So whatever the technology you use, so we can give it here. So preferably HTML is not a dynamic one, right? So those with the help of those tags, so will implement our website. So and here you can see there is index.html and error.html. So the naming convention is not mandatory. You can give your desired name. So it is by default it is asking us to enter index.html. So you can try this index.html as well. But for now, I'll just give some customized name. For example, google.html. And so the intention of this page or this URL or this file is to give your complete implementation of your website. And if user tries to give some other request, for example, let's say if I hit google.com, I should be able to get this page. And later, if user gives something else, then I should say this is not a valid page, right? Or this is a kind of a error I should know, right? So this is the intention. S3 is asking two pages. So one is for your implementation one. So which means when you hit google.com, whatever the response you got, so that is what expected page here. And later you can also, I mean, you should
বাবা
give a error page,
ভাই
right?
ওই একটা সেশন ছিল তার আগে ভাবছিলাম আমি কল করে নিয়েছিলাম
Connect is gone mute. Okay.
হুম
And
না
this is the optional one, right? This is the optional one. So if you want, you can give it, but it's good to give. You can give any name, error.html or any name. So just to show you, so some other names also works here. So that's the reason I have taken google.html, and I'm just in another option. I have kept the existing one, uh, which was as a default one, right? So now I'm creating two files and I'm trying to upload these two files. We will upload them later. So here I'm just intimating S3 that I'm going to create these two files, and this file will act as a main page or main implementation one. And if something goes wrong with the your request, then just whatever the contents are there, just try to display from this particular page, right? So and afterwards, just save changes. Now things are done. And you should note down the, the URLs, we will see them. Now, we have just created a bucket and we have enabled static website hosting. And within the static website hosting, I've given two files. One will be your implementation and another one will be your the error one. Right now, as a second step, I need to upload those objects. What are those objects? I've clearly mentioned. One is google.html page, and the second object would be our error.html. So let us try to create those files. Right? I'm just so let me share my complete desktop and show it to you. Okay. You see my desktop?
Yes, Navin.
Okay. So let me create a folder. Now, let me just copy this page and just share it with you. Okay, so just I'll just keep it very simple. And if you have some expertise, so you can just go ahead and implement your content here. So click on save here, and you should be so you should select from the drop down as all files and give index dot yes sorry what is that google.html. Okay, click on save. So now this is your google.com, and even if you just double click on this one, I think you will be able to see this pages as well, right? This is what we validated. Now, I'll also create another one. The Okay, let me make use of this one, and I'll say just putting a heading. This is the error message. Also, I'll say your request is not valid. Okay, so okay, this page as error.html, right? So why I'm giving this to error.html, because I have already defined these naming conventions also, right? So I'll just say error.html by selecting alt. Click on here. You can see we have two HTML pages which I would like to use them in our static web page hosting. Right? How to do that? So I need to go back to my bucket, and I should click on uploads and add files. And I should have created a folder, and let me select both the files. Click on add files. Now it is my now job is to give public access to my files, I mean to my objects. Just check this option, click on upload. Okay. So I have uploaded my thing, correct? So now what should I do? So let me come back to my SP console. All right, these things are done. So now I should get the URL which is given by this static hosting. How to get it? Go to properties, and inside, I think we have already enabled this website, right? So I mean, we have already enabled this static website posting option. So now we will get the URL, and this URL I'll just copy here, and I'll just give it to the user. Okay, and I'll just share this one to everyone. So just to check this one, I request all of you to check from your side if you are able to get this one. Right, this is the one. So going forward, when we learn Route 53, we can change this particular domain with our customized one. So we can give icmc.in, we can give pranay.com, whatever, if that domain is available in the market. Okay. So in the upcoming sessions, we'll just remind me. So we'll just create one static website, something like this, and we'll just give our desired domain. So it should be beautiful one. Okay. And if something goes wrong with this one, for example, okay, it should say it's a error message. Right? This is what I've implemented. Correct. So this is what my website. So this is the valid one, and which is giving me the correct page. So it is something like google.com. So if I give a valid URL, then I'll be able to get the response. And similarly, if I give the valid URL, I'll get my the valid response from it. And if I give some other the wrong request, something like this, it is throwing an error. So similarly, we can implement however it is showing. So we can also implement here if you have some time to invest on your HTML. If I just give this, it is not giving something else. Instead, it is saying it is the request which you are sending. This is not valid, right? So this is how you can make use of static website posting option from S3, and you can post your website. Correct? Okay. So this is about static website hosting. I'll just quickly summarize. So if your requirement is to host a website which is in static in nature, so instead of creating a new EC2 instance and installing necessary software on it and implementing your code, instead you can straight away just make use of this particular S3, right? And with the help of S3, we have an option of static website hosting. Just enable this. So when to enable this one? After you create your bucket. So once you create your bucket, just go to your properties tab and you just enable static website hosting. And there it is asking us to give some implementation files. So for the first step, I have given google.html page. This will be my actual implementation. And I have also given error.html, something like this. And you can give any name as you like. But the thing is, while creation of your bucket, while making preparation of your static website, whatever the file you mentioned there, those files needs to be updated as your object on that particular bucket. Okay, all right. So this is what static website hosting. So my things are done. What is our next job? I need to delete a content, or I need to delete this bucket. How to delete it? Just select your bucket, click on that one, and it is saying the content of your bucket is not empty, which means there are some objects which resides there. So if you want to delete your bucket, you need to delete, or you need to empty your bucket. So these things are done. Now once the objects are deleted, I should click on delete button. So just confirm by giving the bucket name, click on delete bucket. Now my buckets are done. All right. So this is of S3 static website hosting.